Who'd you watch with?
Crystal.
Okay, just the two of you, not
just
a big
the two
party?
of us, yeah. Just whispering in my ear.
What if the toughest cowboy in Hollywood, a man who stared down death in shark-filled waters and defied every rejection, was hiding a secret that could rewrite his legend? At 94, Clint Eastwood isn't just directing thrillers and building a $375 million empire. He's unraveling a personal mystery that's been buried for decades. From a rejected actor with a too big Adam's apple to an Oscar-winning icon, his life is a roller coaster of grit, gamble, and jaw-dropping wealth. But here's the shocker. A hidden truth about his family and a vanished interview have sparked a firestorm that could change how you see him forever. Will this unyielding maverick keep rewriting the rules, or is there one final twist waiting to steal the spotlight? You won't believe what's coming next. Stick around, because Clint's story is far from over. Clint didn't stumble out of hardship into fame. Born May 31, 1930 in Piedmont, California, he tipped the scales at over 11 pounds. Nurses dubbed him Samson. His family had it good. 2 cars, a pool, a country club membership, and a lineage his mom traced back to the Mayflower. But privilege didn't pave an easy road. School was a mess. He flunked junior high, repeated a grade, and cared more about hot rods and girls than grades. Friends whisper he might not have even graduated. Yet, there was a spark. He'd sit at the piano for hours, mastering complex tunes most teens wouldn't touch. That relentless drive? It's the same fire that later fueled his film scores and a career spanning 7 decades. Life threw him a curveball when the Army drafted him. Stationed at Fort Ord, he hustled as a lifeguard and bouncer, once breaking up a knife fight with his bare hands. Then, in 1951, a Navy plane he was on crashed near Point Reyes. He swam 2 miles through icy, shark-filled waters to shore, an ordeal he called stark terror. That brush with death stuck with him, later shaping his gritty performance in Escape from Alcatraz. Hollywood didn't welcome him with open arms either. His first gig? A shaky lab tech in 1955's Revenge of the Creature, fumbling 28 lines in 15 takes for $75 a week. Universal axed him after 18 months. His Adam's apple was too big, his drawl too slow, his chipped tooth a deal-breaker. Burt Reynolds, also cut, quipped, "You're screwed. You can't ditch that neck." But luck struck in a CBS cafeteria. Spotted by an exec who liked his height and vibe, Clint landed rawhide. Within weeks, it hit the top 20, and his pay soared from $750 to $119,000 an episode. The slow-talking reject became a household name overnight. Hold on to your seats. Clint's luxury lifestyle at 94 is jaw-dropping. He's rolled in classics like a 1965 Jaguar E-Type and a Ferrari 275 GTB, though he's just as comfy in his beat-up Ford pickup. On his wrist? A vintage Rolex Submariner, subtle but priceless. Real estate's his playground. He owns a $39 million Bel Air estate, a Carmel ranch, and recently nabbed a Maui beachfront pad because it looked nice. Private jets? He skips them but flies his own helicopter, a skill he's honed since the 70s. Business-wise, he's a titan. Malpaso Productions, his company, has churned out Oscar winners like Unforgiven and $1 Million Baby. He's sunk cash into golf courses and the Mission Ranch Inn in Carmel, too. Insurance? He's covered. Health, assets, even policies from the 80s to safeguard his films. But here's the twist. Despite his millions, Clint's frugal. "I don't waste money on extravagances," he once said. A mindset that's kept him rich and grounded. Now, let's talk lessons. Because Clint's journey is a goldmine of wisdom. Discipline's his backbone. 70 years in the game, still directing and acting at 94. Smart investments? Check. Real estate and ventures like Malpaso have ballooned his wealth. Frugality? Even with a fortune, he shuns flashy excess. And luck? Sure, that cafeteria glance helped, but he seized it. Compare his past, fired by Universal, dismissed as a has-been, to now, a multimillionaire calling the shots. The dramatic shift? Pure perseverance. His kids marvel at his stamina. Fans crave his next project. And get this, he hates birthday parties, but keeps stacking achievements. Clint Eastwood's not just surviving, he's thriving, a timeless maverick who proves that with grit, strategy, and a little chance, you can conquer anything. At 94, he still got us asking. By the sixth year of Rawhide, Clint was restless, itching to break free from the Arizona heat, and a character he found childish. Enter Sergio Leone, an Italian director posing as Bob Robertson to sell a gritty Western shot in Spain. It was a gamble. Leone couldn't afford A-listers like Henry Fonda, and Clint, a TV actor, wasn't even his second choice. With no shared language, they communicated through gestures and grit. Clint took the plunge, figuring the film, A Fistful of Dollars, would flop quietly. Instead, it exploded, minting him as the silent, squinting gunslinger. Here's the hook. Clint crafted the iconic look himself. Ragged Levi's, a second-hand hat, rawhide boots, and a poncho from a random shop. That DIY vibe wasn't just style. It was strategy, making his character a mysterious legend. The trilogy, rounded out by For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, grossed $84 million on a $2 million budget. Critics trashed it, calling it cheap, and Clint wooden, but fans couldn't get enough, buying 44 million tickets worldwide. Clint's next leap was even bolder. In 1971, he snagged Dirty Harry, a role rejected by Frank Sinatra, Paul Newman, John Wayne, and Steve McQueen. Why? Sinatra bailed, Newman disliked the politics, and the others sniffed at leftovers. Clint didn't hesitate. Through his Malpaso productions, he shaped the film, hired his director, and turned Harry Callahan into a cultural icon. The movie didn't just hit, it redefined the cop genre. Then came the curveball. In 1978, he starred in Every Which Way But Loose, a comedy about a trucker and his orangutan, Clyde. Critics predicted disaster, Dirty Harry with a monkey? Yet Clint's gut was golden. The film raked in $100 million, and its sequel added $70 million, proving his knack for defying expectations. But there's a twist that'll shock you. Clyde's trainer allegedly killed the orangutan for stealing donuts, a dark stain on a blockbuster hit. Clint's resilience shone again in 1975's The Eiger Sanction, where a crew member's death during a climb nearly halted production. Instead, Clint, at 44, did the deadly stunts himself, scaling cliffs with minimal safety, echoing his survival of a shark-filled swim years earlier. Now, let's talk money. Clint's wealth is a masterclass in strategy. His net worth, estimated at $375 million in 2025, grew from 750 Rawhide episodes to $119,000 per episode, then millions per film. Future projections? At 94, he's still directing, so expect that number to climb. His real estate empire is staggering. A $39 million Bel Air mansion, a 1,000-acre Carmel ranch, a Maui beachfront, and a $10 million Pebble Beach estate, totaling over $100 million in property value. Cars? Beyond his Jaguar E-Type and Ferrari 275 GTB, he's driven a sleek Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. Watches? A Patek Philippe Nautilus joins his Rolex Submariner, flashing understated wealth. He skips private jets but pilots his helicopter, insured through policies covering his health, assets, and Malpaso's films. His investments? Malpaso has bankrolled hits like American Sniper, while stakes in golf courses and Carmel's Mission Ranch Inn diversify his portfolio. Insurance-wise, he's locked in comprehensive plans since the 70s, protecting his empire. Here's the real hook. Clint's wealth isn't luck, it's discipline. He turned down Superman and James Bond, knowing tights and tuxes weren't his brand. "I'm the guy with the squint," he said, sticking to roles that fit. His frugality, driving a Ford pickup despite millions, kept him grounded. Compare his past, scraping by on 75 gigs, to now, a mogul who owns Hollywood's playbook. Financial lesson? Bet on yourself, but diversify. Real estate, production, and side ventures have made him untouchable. His struggles, Universal's rejection, Rawhide's grind, forged a work ethic that still drives him. At 94, he's dating, directing, and dazzling us. But here's the question burning in our minds. How does a man who's seen it all keep? Clint's sets were unlike any other. While directors obsessed over endless takes, he demanded one or two, raw, real, done. The first takes got the magic, he'd say. Actors like Jeff Daniels learned fast. Show up sharp, or you're out. Matt Damon begged for a second shot. Hilary Swank and Gene Hackman got Oscars under Clint's lean guidance. His quiet control, never yelling action, just a nod, kept sets calm but intense. Tom Hanks joked Clint treated actors like horses, spooked by noise. This method fueled Unforgiven, a 1992 Western Studios ignored. Clint bought the script, waited years to grow into the role, and at 62, delivered a $159 million masterpiece. It won 4 Oscars, cementing his shift from gunslinger to filmmaker, with a nod to mentors Sergio Leone and Don Siegel in the credits. But wait, here's the twist. He followed it with Million Dollar Baby, a risky drama studios barely backed. It grossed $216 million, swept the Oscars, and proved Clint could tackle heavy themes with heart. Clint's late career hits kept coming. Mystic River, a raw tale of childhood scars and betrayal, earned Sean Penn and Tim Robbins Oscars, with critics praising Clint's emotional precision. Then, at nearly 80, he dropped Gran Torino, playing a bitter vet who softens to save his neighbors. It echoed Dirty Harry's grit, but with soul, grossing $270 million. Fans saw every role he'd ever played in that weathered face, and it hit like a lightning bolt. His wealth grew alongside his legacy. His $375 million net worth in 2025, built from $119,000 Rawhide episodes to million-dollar directing gigs, could hit $400 million if he keeps working. His real estate empire, $100 million across Bel Air, Carmel, Maui, and Pebble Beach, grows yearly. He's traded his Ferrari 275 GTB for a Tesla Model S, paired with a Patek Philippe Nautilus, and his trusty Rolex. Malpaso funds films and ventures like the Mission Ranch Inn, while comprehensive insurance, health, assets, production shields his empire. Here's the shocker. Clint's personal life hit a bombshell. Laurie Murray, adopted in Seattle, spent decades unaware her father was Hollywood's titan. Clint didn't know either. Her mother, a brief 50s fling, never told him. When Laurie traced her roots and reached out, Clint, in his 60s, embraced her warmly. No drama, just grace. This wasn't a scandal. It was a quiet reunion that showed his heart. Financially, Clint's a lesson in focus. Stick to your strengths, like he did skipping Superman for gritty roles. Diversify, real estate and Malpaso kept him rich. Work hard, 70 years in, he's still at it. Compare his past, a rejected actor with a big Adam's apple, to now, a director who reshapes cinema. His struggles, plane crashes, studio cuts, built a man who thrives at 94, dating, directing, and dazzling. So what's next for the legend who's done it all? One thing's certain. Clint's not done surprising us. Clint's personal life has always been a maze of secrets, and the past few years have peeled back layers no one saw coming. In 2018, Clint Eastwood, adopted and raised in Seattle, stepped into the spotlight at the Mule's premiere, revealing herself as Clint's daughter from a brief 1950s romance. He welcomed her, and they bonded over golf and holidays, a quiet connection that showed his softer side. But there's more. Back in 1959, while married, Clint began a 14-year relationship with stuntwoman Roxanne Tunis, who gave birth to their daughter Kimber. Kept under wraps, their bond endured, and when Roxanne passed in 2023, Clint mourned deeply, a loss that hit harder than he let on. Here's the twist. Another chapter unfolded with Sondra Locke, his partner for 14 years. Their breakup in 1989 turned ugly. Locks changed, lawsuits filed, and a secret studio deal exposed as a ploy to silence her. The settlement was quiet, but the rift was permanent. Meanwhile, in the 80s, flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves bore Clint 2 children, Scott and Catherine, whose birth certificates initially listed father decline. Shot with his signature efficiency, one-take precision, no fluff. It's a testament to his unshakable instincts. Rumors swirl he's already casting his next film, shrugging off retirement talk with a squint. Clint's wealth is a saga of its own. His $375 million net worth, grown from 75 monster flick roles to million-dollar directing deals, could near $400 million with future projects. His real estate empire, valued at over $100 million, spans a $39 million Bel Air mansion, a Carmel ranch, a Maui beachfront, and a Pebble Beach estate. He's cruised in a Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG and a Tesla Model S with a vintage Jaguar E-Type in his past. His wrist flashes a Patek Philippe Nautilus alongside a Rolex Submariner, understated yet elite. Malpaso Productions, his cash engine, funds hits like Sully, while investments in golf courses and the Mission Ranch Inn diversify his portfolio. Insurance, health, assets, and film production policies since the 70s locks in his fortune. But here's the shocker. A 2024 controversy erupted when a YouTube interview about juror number 2 vanished without explanation. Fans speculated Warner Brothers pulled it, spooked by Clint's candid takes on Hollywood's culture. The debate ignited free speech discussions, with supporters rallying for a 94-year-old legend's right to speak. Clint's financial lessons are timeless. Stick to your lane. He skipped Superman to stay the gritty hero. Diversify. Real estate and Malpaso built his empire. Work relentlessly. At 94, he's still directing. Frugality keeps him grounded. He drives a Ford pickup despite millions. Compare his past, fired by Universal, swimming through shark-filled waters, to now, a mogul who owns the game. His struggles, rejections, personal losses forged resilience. Daughter Allison says he skips birthdays, focusing on work and joy, a mindset that fuels his drive. This final hook will leave you buzzing. At 94, Clint's not just a legend, he's a force, blending family, art, and hustle. As he plans his next film, one question lingers. What's left for the man who's conquered it all? Only Clint knows, and he's not telling yet.